Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my October marked as to read video. In October I marked a total of 11 books as to read on Goodreads, so let's just jump straight in and talk about all of the books, what they are, what they're about, and where I heard about them. First off, I have a book that Lala recommended, and that is I Know You Know by Gillian Macmillan. This is an adult thriller and basically follows someone, I think it's a man, who his two good friends were both murdered when they were 11 years old, and it's like 20 years later and he is now doing a podcast about that. I believe someone was convicted of the murder, but it's just taking a closer look at the crime and finding out exactly what went on. Podcasts about murders in books is very, very popular at the moment, and I personally haven't read any, but I do love podcasts, so this seems like it would be something totally up my alley, and like I mentioned, Lala did recommend it, so I'm hoping that I really enjoy it. Next, during the month, I came across an article that was all about books with fantastic plot twists, and I got 3 book recommendations from that list. So I know a lot of people consider it to be a spoiler if you know that there's a plot twist in a book, and when it comes to thrillers, I don't necessarily agree, because I think you go into a thriller expecting there to be plot twists. If it's a book that you wouldn't necessarily expect to have a plot twist, I agree, I don't want to know. But by the time I get to these books, I won't remember that this is where I heard about them, and I'll just go into it thinking, oh, this is a book about this, and then it'll bam, hit me with a plot twist, and I'll love it. So that's my view on the whole thing, in case you're interested. So the first one I got from that article is The Killing Lessons by Saul Black. And for this one, I'm just going to read you the little opening couple of sentences from the synopsis, because this immediately had me hooked. So this says, when the 2 strangers turn up at Rowena Cooper's isolated Colorado farmhouse, she knows instantly that it's the end of everything. For the 2 haunted and driven men, on the other hand, it's just another stop on a long and bloody journey, and they still have many miles to go and victims to sacrifice before their work is done. What? I presume this is about some kind of serial killers going around sacrificing people. I don't really know, but the synopsis is longer than that, but that first little bit immediately had me intrigued. Definitely wanted to check it out. The next book from that article is The Queen of the Night by Alexander Chee. This one is a historical mystery and basically follows, I believe it's an opera singer, and she's very, very popular opera singer. And in order for her to kind of take the next step in her career, like the thing that kind of solidifies you as being like one of the best, is to star in an original opera. And she finally gets that opportunity and she's starring in this opera. However, she starts to realize that the opera is based on a hidden part of her past. And so it just kind of follows that. That sounded very intriguing. So I was intrigued by that plot. And the final one I got from that article is Bittersweet by Miranda Beverly Whitmore. This one is a, I think like literary mystery that follows I think a girl who is a scholarship student at like a really well-to-do college, and she makes a friend with this blue-blooded girl, and she becomes like part of their family, and she goes on holidays with them and stuff, and then I think it's just about her discovering the deep dark family secrets of this like blue-blooded family. Just sounded pretty intriguing, and I always am interested about someone who comes from a different world being inserted into like a world that they're not used to. I just find that kind of thing very intriguing. Next, I have a book that I first heard about on Murphy Napier's channel, that she recommended this book and really, really liked it. And then after I'd marked it as to read, I also saw a video from Maddie from Miss Maddie Reads that she really loved this book as well. So 2 recommendations right there. And this is a self-published novel as well, so to have 2 separate people recommending it like independently of each other, very high praise indeed. So this one is Saviour's Champion by Jenna Morrissey. I'm sorry, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. This is a new adult/adult fantasy that's basically set around a competition that they have in this world, where it's like a fight to the death, I assume, where the winner gets to marry the savior. And I think we're just following one of the entrants in this competition. The plot itself doesn't sound necessarily like the most original thing ever, but like I said, 2 independent people both recommending it just immediately had me intrigued. They both had really, really, really positive things to say about it. And for the second time, recently I came across a synopsis where the trigger warnings were mentioned in the synopsis, which I personally love. So this one has trigger warnings for graphic violence, adult language, and sexual situations. Next, I have a book that Carrie Ann from Woman vs. Books mentioned on her channel, and that is Friendship Never Ends by Ella Dyson. This one is an adult contemporary novel about I think it's a woman who had a group of friends when she was in high school, and they did this very disastrous like talent show performance, and it's, I think, their 10-year or their 20-year high school reunion, and she is basically trying to get the old group back together to once again compete this same routine or whatever in the talent group. I think it's got a lot of 90s references and stuff from what I understand, and the title alone would lead me to believe that it's got some Spice Girls stuff in there. If you guys didn't know, I was the biggest Spice Girls fan when I was in primary school. I was obsessed. At my school, it was either you had to like Spice Girls or you had to like Hanson. There was no in between, and I was firmly on the Spice Girls side of things. I had I had so much merch you can't even believe. It's probably, to be honest, one of the first fandoms that I was ever involved in. Like, I was obsessed. So, yeah, that synopsis, and like Carrie Ann had very positive things to say about it. It just sounded like a lot of fun, so I was intrigued by that one. I then have a book that Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books is constantly recommending on her channel, and it did sound, I thought, well, if she loves it and it's a thriller, and you guys know that I friggin' love thrillers, then I have to mark it as to read, right? It is A Cottage in a Wood by Cass Green. As I mentioned, it's a thriller. This is basically about a woman who, I think she's like walking along a bridge one day, and this woman is on there and like thrusts something into her hands and then jumps off the bridge to her death. And she basically has given her, like, as a gift, I don't really know how it works, but she's given her the deed to like a cottage in a wood. And so she goes to this cottage, and I just think some weird shit goes down. I don't know if the cottage is haunted or like what's going on, but I'm intrigued, and Nicole really, really likes it, so I have to check it out, right? Next, I have a book that Kath from Kath Elizabeth Reads really, really loved, and that is After I've Gone by Linda Green. So it is another thriller, and this one basically follows a woman who is on Facebook one day when her Facebook skips ahead like 18 months into the future. And then she realizes that people are posting like tributes to her that she's died, and then she realized that she's died a violent death. That's all I really know about it, but that's intriguing. Like, getting a look into the future and knowing that you're going to die, and then I presume it's about her trying to discover how she's going to die and like if she's being murdered. Like, very, very intriguing. Like I said, Kath liked it, so that is praise enough for me. I then have another book. This one I've heard around Booktube a lot recently. I'm sure you guys have as well, but the first person who really intrigued me to read it was Lala, and that is Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. I'm sure you guys have heard about this one. It's been all over Booktube recently. This one is a YA horror fantasy, and I believe it basically follows three girls who are all like three girls who are friends, and they live on an island, and the island has monsters, and then there are girls going missing. I don't really know too much about it. I'm very like vague on exactly what it's about, but all of the people I've seen reading this recently have been really, really loving it, so I'm definitely intrigued to check it out. Next, I have a book that Maddie from Miss Maddie Reads talked about on her channel. She actually recommended this as like an underhyped book, and I'd never heard of it, and she had pretty positive things to say about it, and I was just intrigued by the synopsis. So it's Choker by Elizabeth Woods. It's a YA mystery, and it follows a girl who, she moves away, leaving behind her like best friend, and she moves away, and then she's really struggling in this new school. And then one day her best friend turns up, and her best friend helps her like become popular and all of that type of thing. However, then I think a girl goes missing, and there's some weird stuff going on with that. I don't know, it's just pretty intrigued about the plot. And like I said, Maddie did have good things to say about it, so I thought I'd give that one a go. And then the final book that I marked as to read in the month of October was Wild Blue Wonder by Carly Sorosiak. This one I heard about from Eleanor over at Eleanor Reads Books. It's a YA contemporary. Eleanor liked it. I don't think she like loved it, but there was just something about the plot when she was talking about it that just immediately had me intrigued. And I don't even really, when I was reading the synopsis later, I was like, I don't know what it was that I loved about it, but there was just something that immediately caught my attention. So it's YA contemporary magical realism. I think it's about a girl whose like family owns this summer camp, and it's like widely known to be like this like magical summer camp. Like weird stuff goes on there all the time. Like blueberries grow out of season and paper grows from the trees or something. I'm not exactly sure on stuff. There's a lot of little magical elements going on. And then I think there's an accident one day, and something to do with her best friend, there's some kind of accident, and then all the magic is gone. She's like lost the magic, the main character. And then I think it's about, she meets this new boy a while later, and something's going on with that, and I presume it's about her trying to get the magic back. I don't know what it is, but something intrigued me, and I just thought it was something that I'd be interested in checking out. So those are all of the books that I marked as to read in the month of October. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've got any thoughts on any of the books that I marked as to read, or if you've got any more recommendations for me. You guys know that I love recommendations, because one of my favorite things ever is to get really excited about a book and then click that to read button on Goodreads. So I'd love to chat down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from me. That is all I have for this video today. Bye guys.